Hi everybody, it's David Fleming here from the Toronto Realty Group, and welcome back to this week's Pick 5. Now, we have, throughout the course of this year, featured one-bedroom condos more than a few times. In fact, I can think of one-bedroom investment condos in the downtown core. I can think of entry-level one-bedroom condos, also in the downtown core. And I do believe I got out of the downtown core with one-bedrooms to go to Yonge and Eglinton. Well, it is along that vein that I give you today, one-bedroom condos in the beach, or the beaches. Don't ask the people who live there because even they can't agree. Now, why the beach or the beaches? Well, because not everyone, believe it or not, who is the proverbial young person moving out on their own wants to buy a condo on King Street or Queen Street or Richmond or Adelaide. Yes, believe it or not, some people do want to move out into the area in which they grew up. Now, I did mention Yonge Egg. Well, I have not sold a lot of one-bedroom condos to buyers in that area. In fact, none in 20 years? No, that can't be right. A handful, let's say. But that's an area that's so incredibly congested and, well, let's use the optimistic word, dense. It's a very dense location. There's density there. It's been densified, right? If you go into the beach, there's a real mix of properties. And that's why today's Pick 5 is going to be so interesting, because you have really old buildings, you have sort of middle age, which is not to say a 42-year-old man. I don't know why I said that, I'm 44, I must have been thinking of Chris. No, not middle age, I would say middle age as far as, you know, an older building in Toronto being the 1990s. Middle age now for condos is probably the early 2000s. Then you have newer, right? Something from the 2020s or even something from, say, 2018, 2017. I don't think that's old, but believe me when I say a lot of the young buyer pool does. So let's go to the map here, guys. So we can see here, guys, 5 properties, 3 clustered along Queen Street, 1 up at Kingston Road, and then I did choose one that's just outside the beaches, just for some context. Of course, I could have picked a few more along Queen, but then they would have been of that sort of older 1990s stuff that I wanted to get away from, because again, today we're looking at price per square foot, we're looking at maintenance fees again per square foot, we're looking at the size, we're looking at the style, age of building, because so many different ages and stages, as my mother would say, in the beaches. Now, I wanted to make a point. This area down here, see this right here? This was the old Woodbine racetrack, or Greenwood racetrack on Woodbine. I can't remember, but as a child, I can remember when, yes, you had a racetrack here. You had actual horses running around down where now, of course, you have Northern Dancer and Winner's Circle, and all the streets are named after horse racing activities. So down here along Queen, I would say, and even as you extend east of here, you get a lot of these buildings that were done sort of 4 stories, 6 stories in the 1990s. There's no shortage of those. I picked one over here just to provide a little bit of context as to what something might cost if it was, say, outside of Beaches Prime. So I'll go to our table view here, and then we'll click on our very first property, which is going to be 601 Kingston. So as noted, I want to get a variety of properties for today. 601 Kingston, this is a newer building. This was built in 2006, which close to sort of that middle age that I mentioned. 601 Kingston, on Kingston Road, obviously this is up at Southwood, so kind of near Maine, if you will. It is not in prime beaches. And the first thing I want to look at, $539.9 is the price. It's 505 square feet. So that's $1,069 a square. Now that is very high compared to what you might, I don't know, expect based on location. But again, you've got to take the intersection of the age of the building, the specific location, and then the other stuff such as maintenance fees, what they're costing, such as the style of these buildings. And this is obviously a more modern one. So $539.9, let's go to the photos here. And overall, pretty good value. And again, definitely an upgraded and updated kitchen. And there you can see on Kingston Road, you've probably driven by that many times. You get inside and okay, we've got a bit of an awkward, right? You can see where you're zigging and you're zagging. In 505 square feet, you want no wasted space. The color of this door just screams 2006. And then again, the kitchen is obviously newer. Check this out. So it tells me that this has been updated. Yes, you can tell all that from the color of the back of a door, because you would not have had this color scheme and this palette here in 2006. So you do have a center island in the kitchen, which is very nice, but it kind of looks like the kitchen is the entire unit. Keep going here, guys, and you're gonna see, okay, not bad, not bad. But if you zoom out a little bit and you think, okay, where's my room for dining? And then again, what's right across the street? We're on the second floor, we have the shades drawn, so there might not be the best view. But we've got a couch, we've got 2 chairs, we've got our TV in 505 square feet. And you can see again, this is kind of what I was alluding to. This looks like it's long angle. I'm not saying they've distorted the photos, but it looks a heck of a lot bigger than this here. This looks really teensy weensy here, and then the 1 chair and the 1 chair. So 505 square feet, we're probably not expecting to get like a full dining set. Then you can see where the bedroom is. So again, you've got the generators or the power wires right outside. And I think that's probably why they drew those shades, because it's not the nicest thing to look at right outside your bedroom. And again, you can see this shade, I can almost guarantee is drawn because right behind it, you've got that generator. Okay, so here we've got some area amenities, great. That's the floor plan, pretty basic square plan. Again, this was the foyer I mentioned, is a bit zigzaggy. So living, dining, you're not gonna get really much more than a 2-person table. Nice, we've got a photo of the parking space, but really what can you expect? And so from an entry-level standpoint, right, let's highlight this, guys, $539,900. Okay, we don't have a balcony. We're on the second floor. We're staring at the power lines. We do have a parking space. The fees here at $522.64, they do include, check it out, pretty much everything, right? Do your own diligence and see if this actually includes everything or if it's just a mistake in the listing, because it's rare to see a building that includes everything. But $1.03 per square, that's a little bit pricey. Now, if we scroll down and we can see, let's look at the property history here, guys. So one of my favorite things to do now is say, all right, so look, they bought it for $500,000 in 2021. They listed it in 2023 for $585,000, $600,000, and throughout the year, $599,000, $549,000, and they've put it back up $539,000 now. So, okay, what are we at? $500,000. Okay, so with land transfer tax and real estate fees, they're not making any money on this. So again, that doesn't really factor into price, but in the context of value, in the context of what you can get in a 1-bedroom, if you go to the beach, this is on Kingston Road. Not exactly, steps to the boardwalk, but as we continue through, you will see eventually, if that's what you want, you are oh so going to pay for it. So the next building here, guys, 2112 Queen Street East, Unit 34, $575,004. Check this out. Draw a circle around that 932 square feet. You ready for this? This is being sold at a paltry $616 a square foot, $616 per square foot. Now, there's a few reasons. Number one, this building was built in 1991. It is 3 floors, 36 units, one of those first wave of buildings to come about when the Beaches was getting condominiums. The maintenance fees, $1,107. Now that is $1.19 a square. So the first unit was $1.03. I said it's expensive. It is. This is $1.19. But check this out, heat pump and electric. So your bills are going to be very expensive, and you can see here hydro not included, heat not included. So again, don't quote me on it, but I think the bills here are going to be astronomical. And again, this is an estate sale. It's not in let's say, the best shape. It's an older building, but everything is factored in. So again, here you're getting 932 square feet. That's a monster. That's almost double the size of the first place we looked at. But the fees are astronomical. You have, as I said, heat and hydro that you're going to be paying a heck of a lot for. And again, it's not in the best shape, right? We're virtually staging here, and right, it's basic carpet. It's very small windows. This is it. So again, this is something that I think would work for, I'm going to generalize here. Again, you can see 1991 kitchen. An older person, somebody that's on a fixed income where you're okay making those monthly payments, maybe you just don't have the downstroke, to pay $1 million for a unit. So again, I think it's a great deal and again, I think they could go further on price. It's been listed for 76 days with no price reduction, but again, check this out, right? Oh, there, thank you. I was going to go back to this, right? You've got a little patio here. You've got a little patio here. So in 1991, it was a very different world. Somebody was looking for just a 1-bedroom. That's all I need. I'm downsizing. Give me 932 square feet. Nowadays, as you know, there is no way a developer would ever put 932 square feet in a 1-bedroom floor plan because they sell based on square footage. We're going to get micro condos. 932 square feet, that sounds like a 4-bed, 9-bath condo in the downtown core. So if you're looking for something specifically like this, I don't need a 2nd bedroom, but I want the space. I want a little outdoor area. I'm not fussed about finishes. This is the kind of thing that you're looking at. And again, consider just how different those first two properties, I should say. All right, so let's move on to the third one. So now you get 1630 Queen Street. So again, this one's outside the Beaches. It's just, let's say, west of the Beaches triangle. Now this building was built in 2021, and it is 88 units over 6 floors. Check this out, guys. Okay, 500 to 599. So I did the math on this. It's about 556 square feet. That's about $1,059 a square. The fees are only 92 cents a square, which I would say is actually expensive, except based on the first two, it's not really that expensive. So they're at $589. They reduced from $597. Here's something interesting, guys. These guys bought this for $547 in 2022. Now, generally speaking, almost any condo bought in 2022 is at best worth what it was back then. They paid $547, they're at $589. It's been on the market 25 days, perhaps that's why it's not selling. Now, again, newer building, it's very, very nice looking, but it's not, and I know exactly where this is, right? I can see, yeah, there's a Pizza Nova there. It's not right in the beach. So are you going to pay this kind of price point? I mean, the fact that you're paying, you know what, 40, 50 grand more than the person bought it for 2 years ago and the market's down, that notwithstanding, forget about 589. Say this was 550 for argument's sake. Say it was 547 that they paid. Is there value here if you're not in the prime beach? You've got one of these lichens, right? Your living room kitchen. My guess is this is where your little TV goes. You've got your skinny mini appliances. So you've got that one room living, dining, kitchen. And compared to the last one we just saw, the 932 square foot monster, yes, it had carpet, yes, the fees were astronomical, and oh yeah, it's from 1991, but this is why the beach, among other reasons, is such an interesting place. There are so many different sizes, styles, and here's your bedroom and there's no window, for example, right? So layouts, let's say, and price points, of course, very, very different. So again, here you can see Queen Street, got a little balcony, not sure what you're gonna make of this. Maybe a place for a bird, let's say, to go and land and lay eggs. Then you have to decide what the heck to do with it. Seriously, this happened to a client of mine. They're like, what do I do? There's a full bird's nest and it looks like they're having babies. This is definitely the real estate agent's job. I was like, talk to property management, see if maybe they'll come by. Maybe they can put them in a sanctuary. I don't know. No, true story. I've absolutely heard it all. So again, here's where we are, guys. Get your bearings, right? You're coming across Lake Shore. Yep, and here you go. You turn up the bend here, movie theater. You've got the baseball diamond there. And then what was the thing I always look at on Google Maps? Waste management playground. It combines basically the playground and like the waste sewage. I should show you Google Maps, or you can do it on your own. Otherwise, you're going to think I'm crazy. I've done Pick 5 so many times. I've seen that map so many different times. Okay, so there you go. Back to the beginning. So again, very close to the waste management playground. What was that called? Waste filtration. Topic for another day. It's that baseball diamond, right? Just at Lake Shore, and I guess it's Coxwell, where it seems like every day of the week in the summer, there's some sort of like co-ed beer league happening there. There's also the skate park that's not too far from there, and then you get sort of down in towards Leslieville, right? Okay, so got your bearings there. I've got my bearings here. Let's go on to the next one, and we're going to get back to something that's a bit newer. Now, to Bellefair. So here's where, and you can see I'm avoiding going to the map because the MLS unfortunately does not have the best map now that we have this new system. But you've got to Bellefair. This was built in 2013. It's 4 floors, it's 29 units. Here were $707,000 for a 1-bed, 1-bath. Yes, it has parking. Check out the fees here. I've got this at approximately 616 square feet, which means this is $1,148 per square foot. Now the fees, I've done the math here, guys. $836.98. If this is 616 square feet, this is a whopping $1.36 per square foot for maintenance fees. Now again, it says here that it includes everything, but boy, oh boy, is that ever expensive. Now, we'll take a look at the photos first. The reason that this one is expensive is because of the location. Now, it's a popular building and it is newer, but here's where you start to look and say, okay, I'm showing you what, 550s and 540s. Now we're up over 700,000. It's not like you have the best view. You're staring at the other side of the building. But here's where you start to say, is location really that important? The first one I showed you was on Kingston Road. The second one I showed you had massive fees and was from 1991. Here we've got something that is on Bellefair and steps to the boardwalk, but look how expensive it is. The fees are huge, and if the fees were lower, my point is this unit would cost more. So this has been on the market for 19 days. They have not reduced the price, and well, what do we think of the value? This is something I'm having a hard time getting over. So open concept, high ceilings, loft-like, big picture windows. It's nice, don't get me wrong. Little backyard terrace situation happening here. Okay, I like it. Got a barbecue. Automatic parking system. Car comes to you. That's terrible. it's nice to try to market something that sucks, right? Like, no one wants this. Car comes to you. I mean, I'd rather have a parking space than a parking elevator. Those things are tough. Okay, so we got some great aerial shots here. And yeah, okay, I think we know what Toronto looks like. I think we know what the beaches look like, right? Here's the building. Yes, very cool. I'm gonna take you down there. I'm gonna show you Google Maps. And okay, black and white with the park plate. Okay, that's kind of neat. Someone made that in paint. All right, I think we've seen enough here. So let's go, guys. I want to go to the map and show you exactly where this is. Because as I said, the location's playing a major factor in our pricing because we're $1,148 a square foot. And the first one, the third one, let's say, they were around 1,000-ish. On the one hand, it's not terrible, comparatively speaking, a 15% premium. But on the other hand, those fees, I just still can't get over them. $836, wow. So here you see, guys, all right, our little dot here on Google Maps, thank you. That is Bellefair, that is Queen Street. You couldn't possibly get closer to Queen. Amazing location, and the next one we're going to look at, believe it or not, is down here, so steps to the beach. So if you're looking for the best location, yeah, you could be steps to the beach, you could be steps to Queen Street. In fact, if you're somewhere in between, that would probably be the best. But I think that's what's driving this price point. Newer building, as I said, pretty looking building, but $707,000, been on the market 19 days, have not changed the price. Yeah, it's got a terrace, it's got a parking. I think if I were to look at this and say $1,148 per square foot, that I would be okay with. For some reason, I'm just stuck on the fees. It just feels like a heck of a lot to me. Okay, so far, 4 properties, completely different. We're gonna go to the last one. This one is gonna be different in its own way, but I think this one's maybe the most comparable to what we just saw on Bellefair. So 66 Kippendavie. Let's go to the map first, and you can see, as I said, right? If you were to get, let's say, south of Queen, we were over here before. Now we're down closer to, right, walking distance, stone's throw, if you will. So dynamite location, steps to the beach, steps to Queen Street East for the infrastructure there. And again, very pretty building, red brick, built in 2014. This is 4 stories and 59 units. Now it's $769, 1 bed, 1 bath. Yes, it has parking. Yes, it's got a terrace. Did the math on this, 575 square feet. This is 1,337 a square foot. I wanted to say it's a lot, but again, I don't know. Based on the building, based on the location, based on everything else. And then the fees here, guys, $622. This is $1.08 a square. Boy, the beaches have high fees. Holy moly. Okay, so beautiful building. And then the unit itself, like this is probably my favorite one. So again, $769,000 for a 1 bedroom. It's got parking, as I mentioned. We'll get to the terrace in a second. I like the layout. I like the high ceilings. Right off the bat, I see greeneries, trees, and then I see an outdoor furniture set with an umbrella. I'm liking this. But at what cost? If you're looking at the first one, you got a $550 budget. No, we're not in the same ballpark. If you're looking at the 1991 built building, right, the one at 2112 Queen Street, you're 932 square feet with carpets and electric heat. No, we're not comparing that to this. But this was my point today, guys. So many different buildings, sizes, styles, ages, the price per square foot, the maintenance fees, heck, the heating, the locations, of course. This looks like an arts and crafts room. Okay, that's your den. Okay, not too bad at all. I like that. But yeah, 5 units, 5 completely different ideas, and I think that's what's so unique about the beach, because if you were to go and look at Yonge Egg, as I mentioned in the intro, so many cookie cutters, and then what? What are you really talking about? It's price per square foot. Sure, you could have a better or worse view. Who cares? You're in the middle of Yonge Egg. It's one of the most congested areas in the central core, and I would think that for the most part, you know, price per square foot, those buildings should be priced all the same. Now, not to run off on a tangent, the reason generally they're not priced the same is because when investors buy in pre-construction for X per square foot, in order for them to make their money on the way out, they've got to sell it for X plus, whatever it is. So as I have said in many blogs and videos, 15 years from now, no one's going to care what it costs to build, what a investor sold it for, which is why I think the lower price per square foot buildings, irrespective of age, hold so much value, right? What's the replacement cost out there today? That's what you should be asking yourself. So again, we go back to this guy here and you can see beautiful terrace surrounded by trees. This is the one at $1337 a square where, believe it or not, I'm going to say, yeah, I would think it's warranted or close to it. So we have a great building people love. We've got a dynamite location. We have a fantastic outdoor space. But again, a totally different idea. And if we go back, let's say, and look at the 5 now and kind of do a comparison, let's start with the last one. Newer building, right? 2014, outdoor space surrounded by trees, dynamite location, 1337 a square. Bellefair, again, very close to Queen, also a very pretty building, also newer, and they were what, 1,148 a square, 707 feels like a lot for, just a one bedroom. Go to 1630 Queen, hey, okay, 589, we're feeling a lot better. These guys paid 547 at the height of the market, so it's probably worth something a lot lower than that. They should be closer to 1,000 a square foot, and they're not prime beach. Then you go to 2112 Queen, you have a building that's 1991. If you were born in that year, you'd be 33 years old. Look at that. That's how old this is. It's as old as a person in their 30s. And you have massive fees, almost $1.40 per square foot, plus you've got electric heating. Then you go back to Kingston Road and all of a sudden, that one's not too shabby. That was a nice little unit. Well, it's on Kingston Road, and it's a bit of a hike to get south down to the prime beach, but it's a newer building. What did I say that was built in? 2006, right? I called that middle age. But hey, you know what? 505 square feet with a nice floor plan. Yeah, maybe a little bit pricey at the 539.9 there, but hey, you pick that up for 510, 515, pretty good starter level unit. Wow, so that's it. That's why I was encouraged to do this today. And honestly, most of these pick fives are based on conversations I'm having with people. I did have somebody, older lady, who's actually looking to sell a monster house and downsize, of all things, into a small one bedroom in the beach, and said, well, how small is too small? Could do anything. I could do 500 square feet, I could do 1,000, depends on the layout, depends on the cost, depends on the location, depends on the maintenance fees. And I thought, hey, Judy, name's not Judy, but it's a typecast, that's a great idea for pick five. So there you go, guys. That is the beach. Completely different buildings every which way you look at it. And I hope you enjoyed watching this pick five as much as I enjoyed filming it for you. Folks, have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.